I'm Nancy Gaetano. Today I'm going to make you some pão com chouriço, which is a bread with a Portuguese chouriço. There's many ways of making this bread. I do have a recipe here of pão com chouriço, but they're forms of buns, different bread recipe altogether. So I'm really excited to show you how to make this recipe of my no-knead bread with pão com chouriço. Let's get to the ingredients. Here are the ingredients you'll need to make my pão com chouriço with my no-knead bread. 3½ cups of all-purpose flour plus 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1 tablespoon of active dry yeast, 2 cups of lukewarm water, and 1 chouriço, which I'm using my homemade chouriço. And what I did is I cut them in thin rounds, just like this. And we're going to be adding this to the bread later on. Now, these are the ingredients. I'll also list these ingredients in the description box down below. Now, I always get started with the yeast and the lukewarm water. So I have the 1 tablespoon of active dry yeast, which I'm going to add to the lukewarm water. And I'm going to mix it together. Now I'm going to set it aside, wait about 10 minutes, and I'll show you the next step. Now, once your yeast is activated and it's bubbling at the top, you know it's good to go, you're going to start preparing your bread. So I'm going to add the 3½ cups of flour and the kosher salt. And give that a mix just to combine the salt into the flour. And now I'm going to add the active dry yeast and the water in here. I'm going to keep stirring and combining it together until I don't see any more flour. And it's going to be a sticky dough. This is a very easy dough to put together. Keep mixing until it's well combined. Just want to make sure there's no flour at the bottom or on the sides. And then once your dough comes together, it's like I said, it's going to be very sticky. And that's it. I mean, under a minute, this dough is formed and ready to rise. At this point, I'm going to cover the dough. So I'm going to place the dough in my oven with the oven light on and the oven off, just to let it create some heat so it can rise quicker. So between an hour and a half until it triples in size, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, everyone, here's the dough that has been rising for about an hour and 5 minutes. It's more than tripled in size, nice and airy, beautiful dough, and it's so easy to work with. And what I'm going to do is just drizzle the flour, the 1 tablespoon of flour that I have, onto my working surface. Now, I'm going to also place, I'm going to use my pastry scraper here, place some flour, remove the dough right onto the counter here. Beautiful and airy. It's just perfect. And I'm going to spread it out. Oh, actually, I'm going to place some of the flour on the top of the dough as well. And I'm just going to stretch it out. Now I'm going to take my homemade Portuguese chouriço and place it right on the dough. What I've done is cut them into thin rounds. You can cut them however you like. You can cut them into smaller pieces if you prefer. I'm going to place it right on the top, just like a pizza. Some here. All right. Some more flour on my hands. I'm going to fold it over right to the center. Then again, another fold. My pastry scraper really works well with this. Now I have some chouriço left. What I'm doing here is just placing it on the top of the folded dough. That way I get to utilize my extra chouriço, and as well, you're gonna get a piece of chouriço in every bite of this bread. So I'm gonna continue placing the chouriço that I have left on the dough, just like this. I'm gonna fold it over again, right to the center. Then again, another fold. And I'm gonna form it into a ball. Make sure you get some nice roundness to this dough. And flour. If you need extra flour, I mean, by all means, go ahead and use it. Okay, I have the bread shaped into a nice round ball. Now I'm going to take my piece of parchment paper, take my little bit of the flour, drizzle it on the parchment paper where I'm going to be placing the bread. I'm going to use the pastry scraper to help me lift it, move it over here. I'm going to place the dough inside the bowl, just like that. I'm going to cover the dough and wait for my oven to preheat to 450 degrees Fahrenheit with my Dutch oven in it. So I'm setting it aside and I'll show you the next step. Okay everyone, I have my oven preheated to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. I've removed my Dutch oven, which is extremely hot. At this point, I'm going to remove the plastic on top. It's puffed out. And I'm just going to score the bread. One more. You could see the chouriço popping through. Oh wow, it smells good and it's not even in the oven. I'm gonna give it another score here. Now I'm gonna transfer the pão com chouriço into the Dutch oven, which is really, really hot. So again, you wanna make sure you have your oven mitts. Put that aside. And I'm gonna remove the lid. Place the pão com chouriço in the Dutch oven. Voila, look at this. Now I'm going to place the lid on it. Place it in the oven for 30 minutes at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. After 30 minutes, I'm going to remove it out of the oven, reduce the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and bake it for another 25 minutes. All right, everyone, I removed the Dutch oven with the pão com chouriço. I'm going to remove the lid. Look at the bread. See that chouriço coming out of there? Oh my gosh, it smells so good, everyone. Well, it's got to go back in the oven at a reduced temperature of 400 degrees Fahrenheit for an additional 25 minutes. And then we're going to cut into it, everyone. Can't wait to show you. Let's do this. And here is my pão com chouriço, everyone. It looks beautiful and it smells even better. The juices of the chouriço are on the top. Not sure if you can see that, but we need to let this cool. I'm just going to remove it out of the Dutch oven. We're gonna let this cool before I cut into it, everyone. A few more minutes. It's time to cut into the pão com chouriço. Still warm. But look at this. It's fluffy and crispy. The bottom. And full of chouriço and a perfect recipe. I hope you give this recipe a try. And that's how I make my pão com chouriço. Now you've seen me making the olive bread, which is a no-knead bread. This is also a no-knead bread with chouriço. You can make this bread recipe with a variety of fillings in it. It's such a soft bread, crispy on the outside, super easy to put together, minimal ingredients. And now this pão com chouriço, it's just so tasty because my homemade chouriço has has some fat in it. It has the meat and the juices just flow through the bread, which gives the bread so much flavor. It's a delicious bread. I can't describe it into words. I really can't. I love pumpkin chouriço in general, but this bread is so easy to put together. And I hope you give this recipe a try. It'll be so worth it. I hope you all enjoy this recipe of my pumpkin chouriço, a no-knead bread with pumpkin chouriço. And if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Take care.